from Red Flag. I'm very happy to be here today in solidarity with all those fighting to defend democratic rights in Hong Kong, the Uyghur people struggling for their national and democratic rights, and above all, the Chinese working class. Across struggles against the Chinese Communist Party dictatorship is the precondition for the victory of international socialism. As we've heard obviously earlier, China's barbaric acts against the Uyghurs include things like forced sterilization of women, a system of forced labor camps, which the Chinese state itself admits have processed over 1 million people every year for the last 5 years, and systematic cultural repression and colonization, including sending more than 1 million Chinese officials to forcibly live in ethnic Uyghur homes. All of this is a deliberate strategy to eliminate the Uyghur people as an obstacle to Chinese imperialist expansion. An autonomous region with a history of anti-regime resistance sitting square in the middle of the Chinese state's Belt and Road zone of influence is intolerable to the Chinese state. Xinjiang's mineral deposits are worth much more than Uyghur lives to them. The Uyghur Solidarity Campaign is absolutely right to warn against placing any faith in the Western politicians and diplomats suddenly transformed into champions of Uyghur human rights. Ever since Obama's pivot to Asia in 2012, the US has been pursuing a policy of direct competition with China, cynically nipping up tensions in hopes of destabilizing the Chinese regime. To the slogan, "Against Beijing and Washington, we can add London too." As post-Brexit Britain becomes drawn into America's new Cold War against China, as post-Brexit Britain becomes more reliant on the US, so too is being drawn into America's new Cold War against China, as the recent debacle over Huawei and 5G shows us. And as imperialist tensions rise, the use of human rights rhetoric to justify militarism and imperialism rivalry will increase in Britain as well as the US. Of course, the British state has a long history of oppression of national minorities and nations, including China. Just think of the Opium Wars, the Boxer Rebellion, and the occupation of Hong Kong. The Chinese working class can take its lessons from history. What was once done to the Chinese by Britain is now being done by the Chinese state to other semi-colonial countries. Since the restoration of capitalism in the 1980s, China has transformed itself into an imperialist superpower engaged in a worldwide struggle for control over natural resources, trade routes, and markets. As revolutionary socialists, we believe that the indispensable ally of the movements fighting national oppression and for democratic rights in China is the Chinese working class. And this class is the only force that can overthrow the Chinese state and put in its place not the bureaucratic authoritarian regimes which are called communists today, but a genuine democratic socialism which can open the door to greater prosperity and human liberation for all. The Chinese working class is the biggest in the whole world, and as it begins to organize around its own class interests, which includes the unconditional defense of the rights of national and religious minorities in China, it can shape capitalism in the 21st century, inspiring socialist movements everywhere. Which is why we need to do everything we can, not just to highlight the plight of the Uyghurs and to call for their right to self-determination, but to fight for a new world socialist movement which can take up these struggles in every country. Thank you.